Article 16, please. Attorney Hale.
Thank you, Madam Moderator.
He was tall. You can push it down, I think. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. My name is Trudy Hale, and I reside at 5 Decker Circle. Madam Moderator, I move to appropriate a sum of $35,000 to be raised from taxation for the implementation of a system of electronic voting to enable individuals to vote with wireless handheld devices at future town meetings beginning with the 2016 annual town meeting.
Article 16 has been moved and seconded. Go right ahead.
First slide, please.
Do you have a question prior to her presentation?
I have a point of information. Maybe she'll cover it.
Okay.
Next slide, please. Open town meeting. It has been called the purest form of democracy. And here in Andover, we actually have one of the largest town meetings in New England.
Well, not right now, we don't.
Very true.
I might add. I'm sorry.
That's okay. But it remains a 17th century model of government that is trying to function in a 21st century world, and it does have its challenges. Have you ever been discouraged by the length of town meeting? Have you ever been disheartened by the lack of civility when our citizens stand on the floor to debate? Have you ever questioned, even just a little bit, whether or not a vote count has been accurate, especially when that count is very close? Have you ever been uncomfortable because you are not afforded the privacy here on the floor of town meeting to vote your conscience, the same privacy that you cherish when you enter the voting booth? If you've answered yes to even one of these questions, let me introduce you to electronic voting. Electronic voting has been shown to enhance the democratic process, and it will rejuvenate town meeting. And here is why. First,
No. Need to go back.
There you go, thank you. First, electronic voting affords you the respect to vote your conscience. Lack of anonymity when you are voting on town floor can be very stifling. Many of us are not comfortable to vote contrary to our neighbor, our friend, our child's teacher, our boss, our best client. Our children call this peer pressure, and it still lives and breathes here at town meeting. And in the worst moments of town meeting, it can actually skew a vote. Town meeting was designed to give each of us a voice and to effectuate some change in our community. Electronic voting will ensure that each vote is heard and is a true reflection of our collective opinion. The second point is that electronic voting has been shown to reduce the length of town meeting, up to 4 to 6 hours. In Westboro, this year they've just implemented electronic voting, and they conducted their town meeting in one night. Now, I'm not suggesting that we will succeed in having town meeting in one night. We are Andover after all. But imagine trimming our proceedings and concluding town meeting ahead of schedule. Next, there's the issue of courtesy. For many towns in the Commonwealth that have implemented electronic voting at town meeting, there has been a very surprising and very welcomed consequence. They have seen that the debate on the floor of town meeting has been far more civilized and far more thorough. This produces more thoughtful decisions and ultimately better government for Andover. There's also the issue of vote count accuracy. Our present method of voting can be error-prone and a little inexact. Questionable votes, like the ones we've seen tonight, require that we stand and be counted by human beings who are human beings. When we vote electronically, the town moderator and the town clerk receive a vote that is 100%, not 99, not 99.9, but 100% accurate. That level of accuracy and assurance gives us confidence in the process. And finally, electronic voting has been shown to increase voter participation, and when it comes to the democratic process, I say the more the merrier. Let me just show you quickly how this works. When you come in to register at town meeting, you'll present yourself at any registration desk, not because of the precinct in which you live. You'll give your name, the clerk will scan you in through a barcode system, and you will be given a handset. It's that simple. Within a matter of seconds, you are ready to participate in the democratic process. The handset you receive, the next slide, please. The handset that you receive is sort of a cross between your mobile phone and your TV remote. When it's time to cast your vote, you press 1 for yes, 2 for no, and 3 for abstain. If for any reason you have made a mistake in your vote, there is a clear button. And within 60 seconds, our town moderator and our town clerk will receive a tabulation, and at the same time, you will see this. Next slide, please. Electronic voting is not new in the Commonwealth. In fact, there are many towns that have implemented electronic voting or are about to implement electronic voting, and the list of those towns that are embracing this new technology seems to grow by the day. This warrant article is requesting $35,000, which is a mere fraction of a % of our town budget. It is a small price to pay for more efficient and productive town meeting, more civil debate, more accurate vote count, greater voter participation, and the privacy to vote your mind, your heart, and your pocketbook without the intimidation that you may feel on the floor of town meeting. Electronic voting, it's an expense, but I would argue that it's really an investment in better government.
I do have that point of question. You mentioned
Can you identify yourself, please, sir?
Yeah, Cal Perry, 25 Timothy Drive. And I'm not here protecting my job, by the way. A significant portion of my income doesn't come from this count. This is another gadget, and gadgets go awry. What is the estimate of cost on an annual basis to keep these things functional?
It's not really a cost to us because we rent this equipment and the company would come in.
You mean it's $35,000 every time we have a meeting?
Yes, it is, sir.
As opposed to $1,000 to have me stand up there and count?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to have to get on the con mic, I think.
Do you have a question or a comment, sir?
Question, Madam Moderator.
Go right ahead.
Robert Pokris, Cherrywood Circle. I have a question that has nothing to do with the cost of this article. It has to do with the essence of what our role is as a legislature for the town, because that was cited at the very beginning of the meeting by town moderator, that we act at town meeting as the town's legislature. And as everyone knows, all the votes in legislatures are public information. You know how your legislators vote on every matter. And so my question is this really in violation of the original spirit of what open town meeting is all about, to basically cloak in secrecy how we as a legislators are voting? And number two, certainly I as a voter would like to know how our elected officials are voting on each of these articles, and I know a lot of other people pay attention to how our elected officials vote on these matters. How would we know how they are voting on these matters if their votes were also cloaked in secrecy?
Well, it's not intended for there to be any secrecy or cloaking. The reality is your voice can still be heard, the mics are still open, and your vote would be tabulated, and you would still be able to effectuate change in this community. In fact, I think electronic voting would be a perfect way for us to try to reach that lofty touchstone that says that town meeting is the purest form of democracy. And I would say to you that I'm not the only one that thinks that. Our Board of Selectmen...
I'm going to ask for their reports in a minute. So
Okay.
As soon as you stop talking, I'm going to do that.
Okay. Sorry.
Selectmen's report, please.
Yes, Madam Moderator, the selectmen support this article.
And the Finance Committee, please.
Yes, the Finance Committee also recommends approval.
Do you have a question, sir?
I do, yeah. My name is James Tamaro. I live on 143 Lovejoy Road.
Tell me your name again, please.
James Tamaro.
Yes, James, go right
I
ahead.
just have a question. Is there a specific service provider that we already know that $35,000 will cover it? And is it a government service provider? Can you give us the name of the company?
It's not a government company. There are many companies out there that can supply this. The one that has actually been providing to every town in the Commonwealth is called Options Technology. It's a Florida-based company, and the number that I've asked in this warrant is based on their recommendations.
Thank you.
Okay, I still have a question. Is this rental process, we have a 3-night meeting this year, is that 3 times $35,000?
No, that covers the entire 3-night meeting.
Anytime we have a special meeting, we're talking $35,000 and it will go up.
No, special
No, it's
meetings.
for the 3 nights.
It's for 3 nights.
And next year it will be the same or plus, right?
Next year is what we're voting on for
I
2016.
don't see how
Well,
we can...
typically it would not be plus because the cost of this technology has continually dropped significantly. So I cannot imagine that it would go up.
Okay, my point is very simple. You have a count, you have people that are vetted, recommended to the town, vetted by the town, approved by the select board counting. And the only obligation we have to be able is read and count, and I think we do a good job. At $1,000 a night or $1,000 a meeting, which is approximately what it costs to have the people, the auxiliary staff that's here to do what we're doing, I think it's ridiculous to be talking about $35,000 a month when we spend half an hour on figures about the same amount. We don't have to spend $35,000 when we can do it for $1,000.
Okay, thank you, Cal. Yes, sir.
Brandon Bigelow, 21 Pine Street.
Do you
I
have
had
a question?
for the town council, actually, which is currently Article 2, Section 5 of the bylaws provide that there's an actual procedure before we can have a secret ballot. Doesn't this effectively make every vote a secret ballot without actually complying with the bylaws?
I'm sorry, what was your question about this?
It seems to me that this technology effectively renders every vote of town meeting a secret ballot.
There can be a secret ballot in town
There can
meeting.
be, but there has to be a vote to do so, and the bylaws...
Well, we have to take a vote for a secret ballot.
I understand that, but without that vote, there is no secret ballot. Doesn't this effectively turn the bylaws on its head and make every vote a secret ballot?
I can speak.
Well, that's not a legal question, that's your conclusion, but
Well, I'm asking for your legal conclusion.
to take a secret ballot, you need a vote.
So my question then would become, doesn't this effectively mean that every vote is a secret ballot without complying with the procedures provided in the bylaws?
That's one way to look at it.
I can speak to 2 items on this, and I will speak to this because it has to do with the running of town meeting, and I have been a part of the committee that has done some research. First of all, the cities and towns, the towns that have implemented this, it has not violated any of their bylaws. And apparently there was a ruling by the Attorney General's office. This is new technology. Our bylaws were all made prior to that. This does not mean that every single vote we do would be on the electronic voting. There may still be some hand votes. It would just be when we had that vote rolling or some of the more contentious votes we would do with the electronic voting. I would recommend this to the town because it is an efficiency in running our meeting that we just don't have. It's new technology. I have seen this work in crowds larger than this, and it was so effectively done that within moments you had the results. Now, the cost is something we have to decide if that's worth it, but I can tell you the efficiency, the privacy, the accuracy, I think is worth certainly weighing against the cost. So that would be my 32-second commercial on the process. Let's go here. Do you have a point of order or just a quick question? Okay.
I have a question.
Not opinion, and a question, right?
A question.
Go right ahead.
Norbert Ohnbusch, 9 Bushman Pines Drive. I'm interested in why the Finance Committee recommends it, given that it's an expense.
Okay. And God knows we know they don't want any money spent. Mr. Barry, would you like to answer that question?
No, sure. So that's a good question. I mean, it's an expense, but we also take a look at the actual efficiencies that are gained during the town meeting, and if there's a practical application for it, you know, in terms of the interest of the town, then it makes sense.
I would like to understand how much town meeting costs.
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
How much does it cost to run town meeting?
It
Well,
costs around $15,000, the town clerk is telling me.
Per 3 days?
For what we do now, yes.
Per night or for the whole?
No,
For the meeting, for the total
for
meeting.
3 nights.
For the 3 nights. Yes, sir.
Robert Pokris, Cherrywood Circle. I'd like to urge voters to vote no on this year, only because there are a lot of unanswered questions. Certainly, at a personal level, I'm very concerned about the transparency or lack of transparency that will result from elected officials having all of their votes cloaked by the use of the electronic device, especially on the contentious matters. Those are the matters that we as voters want to know how our elected officials are the positions they're going to take when it comes time for the vote itself. I'm not a technology Luddite. I've spent my entire career working in technology. I'm not against gaining more efficiency in the operation of town meeting, but I am very concerned about this technology creating less transparency just at the moment when we as a town are looking for more transparency in how we go about making those decisions that affect us as residents of Andover. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead. Do we have any pros, any more pros, or are they all cons?
Yes.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Actually, may I make a pro and propose an amendment?
Can you identify yourself, please?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mark Spencer, 13 Sunset Rock Road.
Go ahead.
Okay. I would like to first start off by saying, please don't think of this as a cost. We've got about $6 million in private and town-sponsored warrant articles. This is about 0.5% of that. Now, if you think that we could be just 0.5% smarter in our spending decisions, then this is not a cost, this is a return on investment. And if I may follow that, I do have an amendment.
Go right ahead.
Okay. And you give 2 copies to...
We need to bring it up here.
Madam Moderator, I move that the town of Andover accept an offer
Could
from
we have
options...
that, hold on a second.
Oh.
Could we have that amendment up here, please?
Oh. Sorry.
Thank you. Go right ahead, sir.
Okay. Madam Moderator, I move that the town of Andover accept an offer from Options Technologies of a turnkey voting pilot program for the 2016 annual town meeting, including electronic registration of all voters at 0 cost to the town of Andover, as a way to demonstrate to the Andover residents the benefits of electronic voting.
So there is an amendment that's been moved and seconded for the town of Andover to accept an offer from Options Technology of a turnkey voting pilot program for next year's annual town meeting, including electronic registration of all voters at 0 cost to the town of Andover, as a way to demonstrate to the town residents the benefits of electronic voting. So go ahead and speak to the amendment, please, Mr. Spencer.
Okay. So there has been some question of cost, although I would argue that the cost is indeed actually is going to be, in the end, a way of us spending our money wisely and actually making a dollar go further. But why would a company like Options Technology that has serviced over a dozen towns in the Commonwealth with electronic voting equipment, why would they willingly give away $35,000 for a service that the town people might actually accept? Well, it's for the same reason that when you go to the pet store, they give you the puppy dog for free over the weekend, because they know when you get the puppy dog over a weekend, you're going to love it. And for the same reason that over the dozen communities that have adopted town electronic voting, have unbridled enthusiasm that Options Technology is supremely confident that if we try it, we will love it too. So let me just be clear here. Our little task force that has studied electronic voting strongly believe that Options Technology is the faraway leader, both in terms of technology and price. Nevertheless, the town is under zero obligation to award a contract to Options Technology in 2017 or beyond. We've got nothing to lose and so much to gain. This is a no-brainer. Vote for the freebie, you'll love it.
Okay, we're talking about the amendment. If you would like to speak to the amendment, go ahead. If not, we'll vote on the amendment, then we'll go back to the article. Anybody, you want to speak to the amendment?
Sure. Steve Cotton, 19 Pomeroy Road, and my view of the amendment is the same as my view of the article, the principal article, and that is that regardless of cost, as a resident of the town for more than 40 years and a participant in town meeting for more than 40 years, I've never felt under pressure to vote other than my conscience on any article that has come up on town meeting. I very often disagree with Mr. Pokris, but I think Mr. Pokris has it spot on when he says, echoing the moderator, that when we walk into this room, we walk into this room not to cast our ballots for a person in the privacy of the ballot box, but as legislators of the town, appointing ourselves as legislators, and as with any other legislature, we would want the legislators to have their votes on record. Even in our great and general court, when the House of Representatives votes by electronic vote, their votes are recorded on a scoreboard. Their votes are open. Open town meeting doesn't mean just that the meeting is open to us, each of us as a registered voter to participate. It means that it is truly open. It is an open opportunity to stand up and be counted. And I think all of us owe it to ourselves, our neighbors, and our elected officials and appointed officials owe it to us to stand up and be counted on any vote that we make. Therefore, I don't think we should accept a free offer, just as I don't think we should vote to approve a $35,000 expenditure or go in the direction of sealing our votes from each other.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Vespoli, go ahead.
I think the question was brought up as far as, Bob, you brought it up from the audience as far as wanting to know how the elected officials vote. In the FinCom book is the tally of each of the votes. So you get to see exactly how your elected officials did vote on all these warrant articles, both in the FinCom report and then during the report at the associated article.
Okay. If you have something new to offer, we'll be happy to hear it. Go ahead.
I do. Larry.
On the amendment.
I do.
Go ahead.
I do. Thank you. Larry Stefani, 11 Burton Farm Drive. Speaking to Mr. Vespoli, how you vote, or rather how it was documented in the booklet I received in mail several weeks ago, doesn't necessarily represent how you're going to vote live. If we were to either spend $35,000 or have it as a free option for next year, I would vote to make a friendly amendment to the amendment such that no one on stage can participate using that device. If you want to do this for efficiency for the audience members, because there's 1,000 of us or however many there are, I get it. I go to Stop and Shop and use a scanner. Drives my wife crazy. I'm in rehab for all the gadgets that I use every day. I'm a gadget freak. I like it. However, I do believe in the open process. I do want to see how that board votes. Last year was a perfect example of the board changing their mind from the booklet live during the meeting. I want to see that. I want to see your faces. I want to see how you vote. Thank you.
I think it's a good idea.
Yes, sir. Do you have a point? 1 second. Do you have a point?
A question. Obviously, these.
You can identify yourself, please.
Chris Quartararo, 70 Holt Road.
Thank you.
Obviously, these electronic computerized things are connected to some sort of database. You're going to be getting that information in real time. But presumably this information is also being stored. Can anybody tell me who owns that information and how long they'd have it?
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, Mark Spencer, 13 Sunset Rock Road. There are two databases that are completely isolated. One database stores your registration information. Another database stores how you voted. Those databases are not connected. Therefore, there is complete anonymity as to who voted for what.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Harry Voorhees, 51 Maple Avenue. This is a question, but it might be construed as a comment. It's been stated as a fact that these electronic voting machines are more accurate than our counters. I don't know if I would feel that way personally as a voter. When I look around the room and see the number of hands raised, I can get a sense of the vote, similarly when it's standing. And then if there's a numerical tally, you know, as a voter, you have a sense that was indeed reflected the actual vote. But when we just look at numbers on a screen, when people vote in private, how do we know that, in fact, that is an accurate vote? It's been stated as a fact that these systems can't be hacked or changed. But how do we know that? And because I haven't heard any evidence from the proponents of the articles that these systems are secure, I would have to vote against this. I just wanted to make one other analogy. As a voter in Massachusetts, I have great confidence in our electoral process. With the kinds of voting machine frauds that happen in Florida and so forth, we know that doesn't happen. That's not likely to happen here. We have paper ballots that are accurately counted and are auditable. And so I just have, by going to a purely electronic system, I would want to have the confidence that it's in fact capturing our vote accurately. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have anything new to add?
Yes, yes I do.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, my name's Ann Cobley, 21 Magnolia Ave, and my
if you
comments...
could speak up into the mic, please,
My
Ann,
comments apply either to the amendment or the article. My experience with the League of Women Voters, one of our primary missions was to motivate voters to get out and vote. I have been a proponent of electronic voting. I know it seems strange because I'm in the con mic, but the scope of the project that I was hoping to see was going to reach out to voters who cannot get to town meeting, perhaps even accessing remotely, because that's an area where voters don't have access. So, and my sense is tonight that the plan and the logistics have not been fully thought through. This offer seems like a no-brainer. It would be an exciting thing to try a pilot program. But again, I don't know that everything's been thought through and there's a plan in place and that there's been enough voter education among the total community of Andover so that people would know what's going on. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Do you want to speak to the article? The amendment.
Yes, I do. Thank you. My name is Rich Fooey, 21 Farwood Drive. I'd just like to say that, well, this is to both the amendment and to the original proposal. I do believe there is peer pressure. You know, I've never been one to be shy of my opinion or anything like that in life, but I could easily see coming to this meeting and maybe wanting to have voted against the school committee's proposal today, sitting next to teachers in my classes or something like that. You know, I think there's definitely peer pressure to be had out there. I also think that in the case of a vote that was close, you could start with a hand vote, and then if it was, you know, it looked 50-50, then you go to the electronic device. You don't have to necessarily do every vote, like you said, using the electronic devices. So I personally think that taking the amendments free offer and experiencing technology gives everybody in this room an opportunity to see what this technology is all about. And then if we like it or we don't like it, we can make an informed decision next year whether it's worth $35,000 or hopefully that cost is coming down as somebody brought forth. Thank you.
Okay, you ready to vote? Let's vote on the amendment. All those in favor of accepting Options Technologies turnkey voting pilot for 2016 annual town meeting, including the registrations at zero cost to the town, as a way to demonstrate, please raise one hand. Those opposed? I think the ayes have it, but we have to count. So all those in favor of the amendment, I'm sorry. All those in favor of the amendment, please stand.
Section 1, Charlie. 1-8 in Section 1, 2. 2-4, Section 3.
Section 3, 4.
4, Section 4.
Section 4, 19, 1, 9.
Section 5, please. 19 in Section 4. Section 5.
Section 5, 31, 3, 1.
31. Section 6.
Section 6, 18, 1, 8.
8 and 7.
Section 7, 14,
1, 4. Section 8, is any there?
Section 8, 2.
2. And the hall is still empty, I presume. Okay. And the stage, please.
Stage is 19, 1, 9.
1, 9 on the stage.
All those opposed, please stand.
Anybody feel pressure?
Please watch your counter so you can see if they've hit you yet.
Section 1, please. 1-9 in Section 1. Section 1. Section 2, please. 27. 2-7. Section 3.
Section 3, 15, 1, 5.
1-5. Section 4.
Section 4, 22, 2, 2.
22. Section 5.
Section 5, 20, 2, 0.
20. Section 6.
Section 6, 35, 3, 5.
35. Section 7.
Section 7, 7.
7. And Section 8 is
Section 8, 0.
0. And then the hall is still 0, and the stage.
Stage is 2.
2?
What?
2.
2 on the stage.
Oh, my. You all set?
Could you repeat, Cal, Section 7, what did you have for that?
Section 7 was 7. Is that correct? That is correct. Section 7 had 7.
Pros at 149 to 147.
Those in favor, you're going to love this, of the amendment, 149. Those opposed, 147. The amendment passes. So now we have Article 16. If you could hang with us, because we still have to vote on this. We have Article 16 that is in the amount of 0 for the implementation in 2016. All those in favor, please raise one hand.
Excuse me.
Yes? What?
No, you voted on the amendment.
We voted for the amendment. Right. Okay, would you like to say, I didn't realize you were there to speak to this, sir. Go right ahead.
Yes. Alex Seversky, 12 Crescent Drive.
Can you turn up
Sure.
number 2, Mike, please?
You got it? All right. Alex Seversky, 12 Crescent Drive. Town meeting has always been an open and participatory process. We're here to debate ideas, vote on them publicly. That's part of the human interaction we have here. And honestly, when we do vote, and when
when the school committee, the school department packs the house with one-issue voters that come here to vote on one thing and outnumber the rest of us who are here all meeting, every night that we come here, I want to see that every time. And that's what's important to me.
Thank you, sir.
So I'm voting against.
Pro, please.
Two points, Madam Moderator.
On the main motion?
Yes.
Go right ahead. We're talking about the main motion now.
I think this last vote proves the point that we could be a little more efficient with the way that we conduct town meeting. And I want to be very clear that we are not in any way, by moving this warrant, trying to disparage our counters or the process. It is still about having our voices be heard, but in a more productive and efficient manner. And when I look around this town hall and I see, this town meeting, excuse me, and I see a lot of empty chairs, if we can increase voter participation, I think Andover benefits.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Chris Vrontis, 379 River Road. I think at town meeting, people need to stand and be counted. I think you take a vote with your peers, and it's important for us to know where we stand, literally. Also, I think the last vote supports voting down this article, because when it's this close, we all can look and see that it was close, and there's some accountability there. And I have more faith in what I've seen and what in the good people who count and the moderator than a device I really don't know if it's working or not. And so, with the lack of accountability, I think we should continue with the counting. Thank you.
Mr. Major, please.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Brian Major, 11 Odyssey Way. Two questions. One, if someone is visually impaired, are we going to have aids to help them to make sure that they press the right button? And then number two, even though next year we're getting these for free, what happens if someone accidentally puts it in their pocket and they walk away with it? Are we going to be liable for
It'll
those
be barcoded
devices?
and we'll know who took it. It'll be barcoded to your name and address.
And the visual impairment?
I'm sorry?
If someone's visually impaired, are we going to have
do you know how the visually
assistance
impaired?
that will help?
1 second.
Well, the way that works is that we are obviously going to work on a hybrid system where some votes will be by hand and some votes will be by electronic device. Similarly, if there is a disability, there are ways in which we can assist the individual in the voting process.
I don't know if the units, if they have Braille units or not, to be very honest with you. I don't know if they do. Okay, let's get a couple more questions in from
Yes,
those
I have
of you who
a
questions.
point of information I'd like to request of Town Council. Has Town Council, Robert Gilbert, 12 Gray Road, has Town Council actually studied the question of whether private electronic voting, there's been a lot of talk about the privacy of this process, has Town Council studied the question whether private electronic voting constitutes a secret ballot or does not constitute a secret ballot?
No.
Okay, yes, sir, over here.
Yes, Lance Fromme, 23 Burton Farm Drive.
If you could speak right into the mic, please.
Lance Fromme, 23 Burton Farm Drive. It seems to me that by voting yes on the amendment, we basically cut Article 16 out of the process. It says we're going to spend 35 grand, but we already said we're going to do nothing. We're going to do it for free. So why have a vote on Article 16?
The amendment was on the appropriation. The article is whether or not the town wants to accept the opportunity to do electronic voting.
So now the amendment was only that we're going to do it once for free.
Correct.
I think Article 16 didn't really imply it was a one-time only thing.
Well, it's Article 16 is for the 2016 annual town meeting.
Okay, I'm satisfied.
Thank you. Question.
Charles Bicking, 239 River Road. Two questions about how this would work. If we get 1,000 devices and 1,001 voters show up, what do we do? We're going to have our regular counters anyway to cover that instance or any other instance where the thing is clearly not working.
My understanding is that we would have more than the number of devices that we have capacity for at the meeting. That's my understanding. Over here, a question, please.
Yes. So, one of the Rich Fooey, 21 Farwood Drive again.
Thank you.
So one of the points of contention seems to be with a lot of people that they would like everyone on stage to not use the devices and stand up. And I think everyone likes that idea. Does that need to be put into an amendment for that to become part of this? Or is that something that we can just make them do? I'm just serious, I don't know how this works.
I don't know that an amendment to control the voting.
In other words, we want to vote on this with the amendment that everyone on stage does not get to use the electronic devices. Maybe that would sway some of the cons.
I'm not sure that everyone in this room would want that to be the case. Certainly some have been very vocal.
That's why we would vote on it.
I understand, but that would be beyond the scope of this article. Yes, sir, question.
Bruce Arnley, Ballard Vale Road. I'm sorry, the amended motion is not clear to me at all. The wording was incompatible. There's a message here about further actions beyond.
Sir, we've already voted on, the amendment's already been voted on.
He's got it down.
We are looking at Article 16, which has been amended, but what I'm looking at is an unamended article, and I don't understand how the amendment that was applied changes the wording of this. Could you please clarify?
That's not up on the board. Put that up on the amendment. He's confused.
Oh, that's not, can we put the amendment up on the board?
Yeah, it's not up there.
That's why, I'm sorry, sir.
That's why he was confused.
Can we get what's on this screen up on the screen? Does that answer your question? That's what we just voted on. That's the amendment we just voted.
What about 2017? It's included in the original statement, but this is
2017, 2016 is the original.
It says beginning in 2016.
Right. Beginning with the 2016 annual town meeting.
I'm sorry, I respectfully submit that the original amendment covers broader territory than the amendment, and it's not clear to me how the amendment actually alters the original, apart from the fact that it says don't spend any money.
To that point, Madam Moderator, Bob Gilbert, 12 Gray Road, I would appreciate it if somebody could say with text, word by word, exactly what it is we are now voting on. It's unclear whether we're simply voting to accept a gift that's been represented to have been made without actually voting to implement, or if we're voting both
We have not voted to implement. We have voted to accept, as part of the warrant Article 16, the free demonstration for the 2016 annual town meeting. We have not said, yes, we want to have electronic voting in 2016 yet.
Madam Moderator, perhaps Town Council, Town Clerk, or the Moderator could actually read the text of what we're voting on now.
You want somebody to read the text?
The text of what we're voting on.
We're voting on this. We're voting on.
We have voted on this.
And this is what we're voting on.
Right.
This is the vote we're going to.
So this is now the article, correct?
Yeah, that is now the article.
This is now the article. The amendment is now the article.
Yeah. And now it's a rather subtle point, but.
Is that correct?
Yeah, it's,
Okay. So this is now the article right here that we're voting on.
Sheila, forget.
Taking a second vote on that language is what we're doing.
Take that thing down.
Take what
That's
thing
got
down?
nothing to do with it. That is
Take
not,
this down.
That's not the vote.
Get rid of it. This no longer applies. Say what? The zero, that was the zero? Okay, put that back up, please. I'm sorry, I can't see behind my head.
Leave it up. Why'd they take it down? No, it's the wrong one.
Is that the right one?
No. That, what you have in your hands is the right one.
Move to appropriate and raise by taxation, not of zero.
$0. That's right.
That was the original motion. Spencer's moved to amend it. That
What
is
is
now
your,
the main motion.
so this is now the main motion?
Yes, that's the main motion.
Okay,
And it's
so-
not up on the board. People can't read it.
So could you put this back up on the board, please? I apologize. That's now our main motion. That's what we just amended.
No.
Well, that's what not being told is what we just did. Say what? This is what we're moving. Okay, Town council is telling me this is what the main motion now is. If you don't, pardon?
That's not the,
I need one question at a mic, please, if somebody has a question on this. Yes, sir.
Daniel Leary, 22 Falcon Avenue. So in effect, we struck the original language that was in the budget packet and replaced it with the amendment. Is that, to my understanding, that's correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
But that was not what we voted on.
Yes, it is this is exactly what we voted on.
We voted on this as an amendment
As
to
an
the main
amendment
motion.
to the main motion, and it now becomes...
And it not as a replacement.
It now becomes the main motion.
That as amended by this, and what is the wording of the main motion as amended by the proposed amendment? It was not a vote to replace.
My ruling on this is going to be thus, and you can vote as you will. This proposed amendment that was voted on will now be the Article 16 motion that we will vote next. If you do not want, all we did was vote to eliminate the $35,000 and accept a demonstration in the 2016 meeting. If you don't want electronic voting at all, vote this down. If you do want electronic voting, vote for it. It will cost us nothing to try it. Okay, can I move the question?
Point of information, Madam Moderator.
Yes, Mr. Gilbert.
There's an offer that's been made. Has town council or any other town official actually reviewed the terms of the offer?
I don't know the answer to
Wants
that.
to know if anybody's looked at the offer. The first
I have the offer letter right here.
The first time I saw this was about 20 minutes ago.
Town council, have you reviewed the legality of this offer? I know that there are restrictions on what towns can and cannot accept.
I have not.
Particularly from companies that are looking to work with the town on a for-profit basis.
The first time that I saw this was about 20 minutes ago, so I didn't do any research on it. I can't, I haven't looked into it. It's the first time I've seen it.
Okay, let's vote. Let's move this along. The
Madam
hour is
Moderator.
No.
If people do not want to, if you don't trust it, don't vote for it. Yes. Last question, right here. Last question.
I move to amend Article 16 as follows. Add the line for only 1 year as a pilot program in 2016.
Add it to what? The amendment that we've just voted?
To the amended article.
Could you read it to me again, please? Actually, can I get a copy of it? John, would you get a copy of that, please? Thank you.
So all I'm doing is adding for only 1 year as a pilot program in 2016. Just to clarify, because all of the questions that were coming up was, it looks like we voted to accept a gift of a pilot, but now we're voting to say we plan to use electronic voting starting in 2016. What this does is just change it to, this is a pilot for 2016 only, and then we can take further action from there.
Where are you looking to add for only 1 year as a pilot program in 2016? After the last sentence?
After it says town meeting replacing this, it doesn't say that.
It doesn't say that.
It says beginning of 2016. So
What we need to remember is we would have to appropriate the funds each year if we wanted to continue it.
Correct.
So by virtue of the fact that that would have to be approved each year, this isn't saying we would do it for more than one.
it says beginning in 2016. We wanted to say it's a pilot program.
So all I'm asking is that changing the wording from beginning with 2016 to as a pilot program for 2016.
So after turnkey voting as a pilot program for 2016 annual town meeting, is there a second to that amendment?
Second.
All those does anyone want to discuss the amendment? Thank you. Any further?
Yes.
Who's saying yes to me? Yes, sir, go ahead.
Does that...
Something new, please.
Does this amendment say that we are going on to spend another 35 grand after this?
No, it's saying for 2016 only. And we've already voted to accept a zero cost.
Half of those people.
Yes, sir.
Bob Zimmerman, 9
Something new,
Carrisburg
please.
Street. Yes, it's really a point of order. I would like the chair to rule the amendment out of order because it does not change anything substantially. The amendment which we already voted to accept clearly says 2016. I can't see why we need to add more and have another vote on this to repeat that.
I personally think the amendment is very clear that it's for the 2016 member. I would concur. So I would rule this most recent amendment out of order. Let's go ahead. Do you have a question?
I had a question.
Go right ahead.
Would it make sense?
Can you identify yourself, please?
Oh, Margaret O'Connor, 22 Railroad Street. Would it make sense to recess till tomorrow, till people really understood what we're voting on? There seems to be a great deal of confusion, and might be able to word things a little more clearly.
I would like to get this done tonight.
You feel okay?
Only because this same crew won't be back tomorrow night. There will be a different group. I mean, many of you will, but there will be a different group.
Well, whatever you think, but I just thought it might be helpful to.
Thank you. I would like to go to a vote. Can we do that?
Forgive me, Madam Moderator. I don't know what we're voting on.
Excuse me, sir.
I don't know what we're voting on.
Sir. Could I get a consensus of the meeting if you would like to vote?
What?
Thank
On what?
You. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Fontres. We're going to vote now.
What are we voting on?
We're voting on this amendment.
Is that what we're voting on?
That's what we're voting on.
That language?
That is right there. All those in favor of Article 16 as amended, please raise one hand.
Yeah.
All those opposed, no, this is the First Amendment. This is this. All those opposed, all right, let's take a standing vote. We are voting, just for clarity, please. We are voting on this article as Article 16 as it was amended in the last vote. So now this expenditure at no dollars for electronic voting. The amendment was to decide whether or not we would use $35,000 or take it for nothing. We said we'll take it for nothing if we vote for it. Now we're going to decide if we want to do the electronic voting. Is everybody on board with what we're voting?
No, not at all.
All those in favor of Article 16 as amended?
This is the main motion now.
That's right.
What's that mean?
Main motion as amended, as it was amended.
Main motion as amended. This is the motion.
The main motion as amended. All those in favor, please stand. I'm so sorry. All those in favor, please stand.
What? Yeah. Section 1. 13(1)(3), Section 2. 17(1)(7), Section 3.
Section 3, 2.
2, Section 4.
Section 4, 12.
12, Section 5.
Section 5, 20, 20.
20, Section 6.
Section 6, 9.
9, Section 7.
Section 7, 8.
8. And 8 is empty? 8, I'm sorry.
2.
2. And the stage?
The stage is 15, 1-5.
1-5 on the stage, and the front hall is vacant.
Yes.
Yes.
All those opposed, please stand.
God, this one
completely the opposite way. This is crazy.
When the counter has passed you, please be seated.
Look in front and seat as you're counted, please.
Cal? No, I just wanted to make sure.
Cal? Cal?
Section 1, please. 24, Section 2. 36, Section 3.
Section 3, 14.
14. 1-4. Section 4.
Section 4, 25.
25, 2-5. Section 5.
Section 5, 24, 2-4.
24. Section 6, please.
Section 6, 34, 3-4.
34. Section 7.
Section 7, 6.
6. Section 8.
Section 8, 1.
1 in Section 8. None in the front hall, and the stage is
6.
6 on the stage.
Those having voted in the affirmative, 98. Those opposed, 170. The motion is lost.